and may leave behind another story that's got me blind. Got only you on my mind. I couldn't face what I couldn't find.
Hi all, and welcome back to the Blind Horse Project on my channel. Hope you all enjoy this new video, Working with Blind Horses, Chapter 1, The Basics. Please note, this presentation is an overview of the simplified version of the training theory for blind horses. This is not all you need to know to embark on the journey of working with blind horses. That is why I am releasing an entire Patreon page with weekly videos with live access to me so owners can get direct, experienced professional help. Blind horses can absolutely be rehabilitated with the right education, but they are still 1,000-pound flight animals, so don't be stupid or you'll be squashed like a pancake. Is my blind horse ready to go back to work? Before we can begin working with our horses one-on-one again, we have to ask ourselves, is our horse ready to go back to work? Going blind is a process that can get overwhelming for humans, and it definitely can be the same for our horses. They have to learn how to navigate their world in a whole new way without their eyesight. And while it varies between horses, some of our equine friends can get dangerous to handle directly while they are getting used to this new change. Fear not, this behavior change is temporary for most horses and only lasts until they adjust fully. It can be tough and stressful to watch, but hang in there, your horse can and will be happy again with life once adjusted. For the average horse owner, I recommend waiting until your horse can calmly navigate their home environment before beginning your new training journey. Here are some signs that can help you identify when your horse is ready to go back to work. 5 signs your blind horse is ready to go back to work. Number 1, your horse is calm the majority of the time in their home environment. Number 2, they are able to navigate without help to their water, food, and shelter sources the majority of the time, even when they are moved. 3, they know their fence line and do not crash or destroy it regularly. Number 4, sassy behavior while out in their paddock or pasture. This is a sign that they're getting confident again. Number 5, they are socializing with other horses easily again. This one is tricky, as many horses will not accept a blind horse as a herd mate, but there are many horses that will, and the focus here is on your blind horse. Is your blind horse instigating or joining in play with their herd mates again? If your horse meets all these requirements, they may be ready to start learning how to work alongside humans again in their new world. Please keep in mind that some horses go blind gradually, in which case it is safest for both horse and human to wait until their eyesight leaves completely or reaches a plateau in fading. It takes an average 6 to 12 months for a horse to adjust fully after having sight all their life to change over to being blind. So be patient and don't give up on your horse. It's worth it in the end. Step 1. Set up a reward system. Before we can focus on building a language to communicate with our blind horses, we have to figure out how to tell them when they get it right. In order to do that, we have to set up a clear reward, which will serve not only as motivation but clarity to the horse that they got the right answer. Personally, I have learned that the use of treats with a marker works best because while good boy, good girl means something to us, it means nothing to our horses unless paired with something that the horse likes. The marker, because our horses are blind, has to be a sound of some sort and has to be consistent every time in tone, pitch, and duration. You follow up with the treat immediately after giving the marker sound. Repeat this process enough and the horse will associate the sound you make with the cookie, which releases endorphins or feel-good chemicals in the horse's brain. The importance of the pre-cue. The pre-cue or preparation cue is the cue that happens before we ask something of our horse. It essentially says, "Hey, I'm about to ask you something different," and allows our horse a moment to bring their focus fully back to us, rather than the task we had originally set them on. The preparation cue helps prevent frustration in both us and our horses, and creates a more willing and responsive partner. In normal horses, during lunge work, we inevitably give off some sort of physical, visible cue to the horse, whether we mean to or not, that says we are about to do something. During riding, it's often a half halt or a slight pause in your riding. With the blind horses I train, I use their name as a pre-cue. For instance, to ask Blink to back up, I would say, Blink, back up. A horse's senses. Normally, during training, we use mostly body language to communicate, followed up with a stick or other instrument to clarify to the horse what we want them to do. This traditional way of training relies heavily on the horse's ability to see, which leaves those of us with blind horses at a loss with how to train. But the reality is we do have other senses we can use besides eyesight to successfully train our horses. We have touch, we have taste, we have hearing, and we have smell. In reality, only one of our horse's senses, sight, is no longer available to us. We have others we can use. Vocal cues and their importance to the blind horse. In normal horse training, we often use physical cues from a distance to ask our horse to do things, and because the horse can see us, they can understand the cue. But when our horse is blind, we need a replacement cue using one of the senses that they still have. The most effective sense to use in replacement is their hearing. To simplify it, we will give the vocal cue, then use touch of some sort to clarify to the horse what we want, as per normal of a sighted horse. It is important to note that each vocal cue has to be consistent. Same word, same pitch, every time. To simplify this, I use this structure for tone of voice. When you ask for an upward transition, you use a higher tone of voice. When you ask for a downward transition, you use a lower tone of voice. And my stop cue is a short, loud command to get the horse's attention. Blind horses are still horses. In the end, blind horses are still horses. So the basics and foundational horsemanship rules are the same. They follow the same psychology base as other horses, and what is important to regular horses is also important to blind horses. There is a lot more to this journey to dive into yet, but for now, we have covered a good section of the basics. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch this presentation on blind horse horsemanship. This is one of the very few videos that will be available to absolutely anyone, even those that don't sign up for my Patreon page. Mostly because I don't want to encourage the average horse owner to go out and try to train their blind horse without professional help. Here are all the links to my social media accounts if anyone wants to follow them. Thanks again, everyone.